My family dumped me over my sister's lie. 9 years later, the truth came out. I have proof of my innocence and I ruined her life with it. Thank you for joining us today. Can you start by telling us about the event that occurred 9 years ago involving your family? 9 years ago, when I was 22, my family suddenly severed ties with me and kicked me out of our home. I wasn't financially stable enough to rent my own place at the time, so it left me both mentally and financially unprepared. The whole situation was triggered by my sister, Olivia. Can you tell us more about your relationship with Olivia and what led to this situation? Olivia is 7 years older than me, so we were never particularly close due to the age gap. She had married her boyfriend Nathan when she was 27, after they had been together for 3 years. Their marriage only lasted 3 years before ending in divorce. At the time, I was living with our parents after college, having just started my career and wanting to save money before moving out. What reason did Olivia give for her divorce? Olivia came home one day in hysterics, saying she had filed for divorce because her husband had been unfaithful for the past 6 months. She then implicated me in the situation, claiming I had introduced my acquaintance to Nathan, and that this acquaintance was the woman Nathan had allegedly cheated with. How did you react to these allegations? I was completely stunned. The acquaintance in question, Sophia, was someone I knew to be an upstanding person who would never engage with a married man. Moreover, infidelity seemed completely out of character for Nathan, who had always appeared utterly devoted to Olivia and spoke only positively about her. I found it incredibly difficult to believe he had been unfaithful. How did your parents respond to Olivia's claims? My parents instantly believed Olivia without questioning her claims, even though she provided no evidence of the affair. While I understood their inclination to side with their daughter over their son-in-law regardless of the truth, I couldn't comprehend why they so readily ejected me from our home at Olivia's behest. What happened after your parents believed Olivia? They threatened to forcibly remove me if I didn't leave voluntarily. In the span of a day, I had lost both my family and my home, with no idea where to turn. I spent about an hour sobbing on the sidewalk with all my belongings before I managed to collect myself and seek shelter at a friend's house for the night. Did you try to contact your family after being kicked out? Yes, I attempted to contact my family every day for the next week but to no avail. My friend graciously allowed me to stay at his place until I could secure my own apartment. Unfortunately, my parents had firmly decided that I was at fault and bore responsibility for the divorce. How did your parents express their feelings towards you before kicking you out? Before kicking me out, my mom and dad expressed their disgust at my actions, which made no sense given that I wasn't the one Nathan had allegedly cheated with. They blocked my number, making it impossible for me to reach them, and when I tried to visit, my mom threatened to call the police if I didn't leave. Looking back, do you think you should have anticipated this reaction from your family? In hindsight, I shouldn't have been surprised, as Olivia had always been the favorite child. My parents hadn't planned for a second child, so I had always been sidelined. While I hadn't cared much about this growing up, I never imagined it would lead to such a drastic outcome. Reflecting on it now, perhaps I should have anticipated something like this, but honestly, I don't think anyone in my position could have foreseen such an extreme reaction. What steps did you take to try and understand the situation? I spent the next couple of weeks trying to piece things together on my own, as Olivia and my parents had effectively cut me off completely. I couldn't even speak to Nathan because he had blocked me too, which was puzzling. I couldn't locate him either, as both Olivia and Nathan had vacated their shared home and moved back in with their respective parents. You mentioned Sophia earlier. Did you reach out to her for information? Yes, with no way to reach anyone else involved, I turned to Sophia as my last resort for uncovering the truth. I arranged a meeting with her and explained the situation, asking if Olivia's allegations about the affair were true. What did Sophia tell you? Sophia vehemently denied any involvement. She told me that she had only met Nathan a handful of times in a strictly professional capacity, and she had no idea why Olivia would make such terrible accusations about her. She even revealed that she had been in a committed relationship for a couple of years and was planning to get married in a few months. She showed me pictures as proof, and her account was far more convincing than Olivia's claims. Did you believe Sophia? Yes, I did. While I had no concrete evidence, I felt certain that Olivia had been lying about the real reason for the divorce. However, without proof, I couldn't approach my family, and I certainly couldn't return empty-handed. How did you cope with the situation in the following years? At first, I was desperate to reconcile with my family and return home, as I missed them terribly despite their treatment of me. However, as time passed, I managed to move on with my life. I found an apartment and threw myself into my work, using it as both a distraction and a means to support myself. While I was hurting deeply, I knew I had to persevere with or without my family's support. How did your life change over the years? As the years went by, my life improved significantly. I upgraded from my tiny apartment to a much larger one and recently got engaged to my girlfriend of 2 years, Rachel. You mentioned that your engagement announcement changed everything. Can you elaborate on that? Just days after we shared the news of our engagement, I received an unexpected email that not only explained the entire story behind Olivia's divorce but also provided the proof I had been lacking all these years. How did this email come about? My fiancée, Rachel, shared our engagement photo on her Facebook page, where she had a broader audience. The post was public, and many people saw it, including my former brother-in-law, Nathan. As it turned out, Rachel had met Nathan at a medical conference a few years back, as she was a doctor, and they had connected on Facebook. What did Nathan's email reveal? The email contained the full story and evidence of what had transpired 9 years ago. As it turned out, Olivia had been the one cheating on Nathan, not the other way around as she had claimed for so long. Not only was this a massive lie, but even more surprisingly, she had been cheating on Nathan with one of my friends, Alex, who had been a barista at the coffee shop near Olivia's workplace back then. How did Olivia explain her affair to Nathan? According to Nathan, when he confronted Olivia, she told him that it was all my fault because I had been the one to introduce her to Alex and had even mentioned that he needed her help as an aspiring musician, given her talent as a singer. She claimed that she had agreed to help him, and they had fallen in love before they knew it. She even went so far as to say that I was complicit in helping them keep their relationship a secret. Was any of this true? No, all of this was a complete fabrication. I hadn't even known that Alex and Olivia were involved. What kind of evidence did Nathan provide? The evidence he sent me included clear photographs of Olivia and Alex in compromising situations, as well as screenshots of their incriminating text messages. I finally had all the proof I needed to confront my parents and make them realize their mistake. How did you decide to approach your parents with this information? After sharing the information with Rachel, we both agreed that we needed to meet with my parents to reveal the truth. We gathered all the evidence and visited my parents' house. Can you describe what happened when you met with your parents? When I knocked on the door, my mom answered and stood there in shock, clearly not expecting to see me after all this time. I told her we needed to talk, and after a moment of hesitation, she let us in. My dad was equally surprised and seemed somewhat happy to see me, though he appeared unsure of how to express it. They both stood there awkwardly, waiting for me to speak, when I simply placed a file on the table and instructed them to go through it. How did your parents react to the evidence? It took them some time to process the contents of the file, but when they did, my mom burst into tears. My dad was also visibly emotional, repeatedly apologizing for not believing me back then. Although I felt a wave of emotion myself, I managed to maintain my composure. What did you say to your parents at that moment? I told them that they should have at least heard my side of the story before jumping to conclusions and kicking me out, but I assured them that I wasn't interested in holding a grudge. Did your parents explain why they hadn't reached out to you in all these years? Yes, they confessed that they had regretted their decision every single day but lacked the courage to admit they were wrong. Olivia had continually reinforced the idea that they had made the right choice, which made them believe they had no other option. Did you learn anything about Olivia's life during those years? I learned that Olivia and Alex had gotten married a year after her divorce from Nathan and even had a child together. I had been completely unaware of these developments in her life, but truthfully, I hadn't cared enough to keep tabs on her. Did you have a chance to confront Olivia about her lies? Yes, later that day, Olivia came home and turned pale when she saw me sitting with our parents. When she asked what I was doing there, my mom confronted her about everything, and Olivia stood there in shock, at a loss for words. She did eventually apologize to me, but I no longer wanted anything to do with her, so I simply walked away. How do you feel about your relationship with your parents now? Now, I've re-established contact with my parents, and while it will take time to repair our relationship, I'm hopeful that we can put the past behind us and be a family once again. The road to reconciliation won't be easy, and there are still many conversations to be had and wounds to heal. However, the fact that we're all willing to try is a significant step forward. As you reflect on this experience, what emotions are you feeling? As I reflect on this tumultuous journey, I can't help but feel a mix of emotions. There's relief at finally having the truth come to light, anger at the years of estrangement and pain, and a cautious optimism for the future. What lessons have you learned from this experience? I've learned valuable lessons about the importance of communication, the dangers of jumping to conclusions, and the resilience of the human spirit. How has your relationship with Rachel been affected by this ordeal? My relationship with Rachel has been a source of strength throughout this ordeal. Her unwavering support and encouragement have been crucial in helping me navigate these complex emotions and difficult conversations. As we plan our future together, I'm grateful to have her by my side, providing a stable foundation as I work to rebuild my familial relationships. Has this experience changed your perspective on forgiveness? The experience has taught me the importance of forgiveness, not just for others but for myself as well. For years, I carried the weight of my family's rejection, questioning what I could have done differently. Now, I understand that I wasn't at fault, and I'm learning to let go of that burden. What steps are you taking to rebuild your relationship with your parents? Moving forward, I'm committed to fostering open and honest communication with my parents. We've agreed to attend family therapy sessions to work through our issues and develop healthier patterns of interaction. It's a challenging process, but one that I believe is necessary for true healing to occur. How do you feel about Olivia now? As for Olivia, the situation is more complicated. While I don't harbor intense hatred towards her, I'm not ready to forgive or forget the pain she caused. For now, I've chosen to maintain distance from her, focusing instead on rebuilding my relationship with our parents. Perhaps in time, we'll be able to address our issues, but that's not a priority for me at present. Has this experience changed how you view truth and perspective? This experience has made me reflect on the nature of truth and how easily it can be distorted or hidden. I've become more aware of the importance of seeking multiple perspectives and not taking things at face value, even when they come from trusted sources. It's a lesson I'll carry with me in all aspects of my life. How do you feel about the future of your family relationships? As I look to the future, I'm cautiously optimistic. While the pain of the past can't be erased, I believe that with time, effort, and understanding, my family and I can forge a new, stronger relationship. It won't be the same as before, but perhaps it can be something even better, a relationship built on honesty, mutual respect, and the hard-won wisdom that comes from overcoming adversity together. What's the most important thing you've learned from this entire experience? In the end, this journey has taught me that family bonds, while sometimes fragile, have the potential to be incredibly resilient. It's shown me the power of truth to heal even the deepest wounds, and the importance of perseverance in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. As I move forward with my life, embracing my new family with Rachel while working to mend ties with my parents, I carry these lessons with me, grateful for the growth and understanding they've brought, even as I continue to navigate the complex emotions and challenges that lie ahead. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Is there anything else you'd like to add? I think I've covered most of the important aspects of my story. I just want to emphasize that while this experience has been incredibly difficult, it has also led to personal growth and a deeper understanding of family dynamics. I'm hopeful for the future and grateful for the opportunity to rebuild relationships that I once thought were lost forever. Your story is truly remarkable. Can you tell us more about how you managed to survive and thrive after being suddenly kicked out of your home? Those first few weeks were incredibly challenging. After spending that initial night at my friend's place, I had to quickly figure out how to support myself. I was fortunate that I had just started my career, so I had some income, but it wasn't enough to comfortably rent an apartment in our area. I ended up finding a tiny studio apartment in a less desirable part of town. It wasn't ideal, but it was a roof over my head. I threw myself into my work, often taking on extra hours and projects to distract myself from the pain of losing my family. It was also a financial necessity. I needed to build up my savings and establish myself independently. I learned to budget carefully, cook for myself, and live frugally. It was a steep learning curve, but it taught me valuable life skills and independence. That must have been a difficult adjustment. How did you cope emotionally during this time? Emotionally, it was a roller coaster. There were days when I felt angry and betrayed, and others when I was consumed by sadness and longing for my family. I struggled with feelings of worthlessness and questioned what I could have done differently. However, I was determined not to let the situation define me or derail my life. I started seeing a therapist, which was incredibly helpful in processing my emotions and developing coping strategies. I also leaned on my friends for support. They were amazing, inviting me over for meals, helping me furnish my apartment, and just being there to listen when I needed to talk. Gradually, I started to build a new life for myself. I joined some local clubs and started volunteering, which helped me meet new people and feel part of a community again. It wasn't easy, but over time, I began to heal and grow stronger. It's inspiring to hear how you persevered. You mentioned that you recently got engaged to Rachel. How did you meet her? I met Rachel about 3 years ago through a mutual friend. At first, I was hesitant to get into a serious relationship. My experience with my family had left me with trust issues, and I was afraid of being hurt again. But Rachel was patient and understanding. As we got to know each other better, I found myself opening up to her about my past. She was incredibly supportive and never judged me for the situation with my family. Her compassion and empathy were a big part of what drew me to her. We started dating about 2 years ago, and it's been amazing. Rachel has been a rock for me, especially as I've navigated reconnecting with my parents. She encouraged me to seek closure but also respected my boundaries. Her support during this whole ordeal with the revelations about Olivia has been invaluable. It sounds like Rachel has been a significant positive influence in your life. How has your relationship with her impacted your perspective on family? Rachel has definitely changed my view on family. For a long time after the incident with my parents and Olivia, I was wary of the concept of family. I felt that family bonds were fragile and unreliable. But Rachel showed me that it's possible to have a loving, supportive family relationship. Her family has been incredibly welcoming to me, which has been healing in its own way. They've shown me what a healthy family dynamic can look like. It's helped me realize that while I can't change my past, I can create a positive family environment in my future. Being with Rachel has also made me more open to the idea of reconciliation with my parents. She's helped me see that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing what happened, but it can be a way to find peace and move forward. That's a powerful realization. Now that you've reconnected with your parents, what are your hopes for your relationship with them going forward? My main hope is that we can rebuild a relationship based on honesty, respect, and open communication. I don't expect things to go back to how they were before, too much has happened for that. But I do hope we can create a new, healthier dynamic. I want us to be able to talk openly about what happened, to acknowledge the pain it caused, and to work through it together. The family therapy sessions we've agreed to attend are a big step in this direction. I'm hoping they'll give us the tools to communicate better and understand each other's perspectives. In the long term, I'd like to get to a place where we can enjoy each other's company again, where we can share in each other's lives without the weight of the past hanging over us. It's going to take time and effort from all of us, but I believe it's possible. That's a very mature outlook. How about your relationship with Olivia? Do you see any possibility of reconciliation there? With Olivia, it's much more complicated. The hurt she caused runs deep, not just because of her lies, but because of how willing she was to sacrifice my relationship with our parents to cover up her own actions. Right now, I'm not ready to have her in my life. The wound is still too fresh, especially after learning the full truth. I need time and space to process everything that happened and to focus on healing my relationship with our parents. That said, I don't want to say never. Perhaps in the future, if Olivia shows genuine remorse and a willingness to take responsibility for her actions, we might be able to have some kind of relationship. But it would take a lot of work and time to rebuild any trust. For now, I'm choosing to maintain my distance. I think it's healthier for me and for my relationship with our parents if I don't try to force a reconciliation with Olivia before I'm ready. That's understandable. You mentioned earlier that this experience has taught you about the nature of truth. Can you elaborate on that? This whole experience has really opened my eyes to how complex and subjective truth can be. For 9 years, my family believed a version of events that wasn't true, but to them, it was their reality. It's made me realize how easily misinformation can spread and how damaging it can be. It's also shown me the importance of seeking out multiple perspectives and not jumping to conclusions. If my parents had taken the time to hear my side of the story or to question Olivia's account, things might have turned out very differently. Moreover, I've learned that the truth often isn't black and white. While Olivia's actions were clearly wrong, I can also see how fear and desperation might have driven her to lie. It doesn't excuse what she did, but it helps me understand it a bit better. This experience has made me more cautious about accepting things at face value, even when they come from people I trust. It's taught me to ask questions, seek evidence, and keep an open mind. Those are valuable lessons. How do you think this experience will influence your approach to your own future family? This experience has definitely shaped my ideas about family and how I want to approach it in my own life. First and foremost, it's reinforced the importance of open, honest communication. I want to create an environment where everyone feels safe expressing their thoughts and feelings, even when it's difficult. I also want to make sure that I never take my relationships for granted. I've seen firsthand how quickly family bonds can be broken, and I never want to let things get to that point. It means putting in the effort to maintain connections and address issues as they arise, rather than letting them fester. Another big takeaway is the importance of fairness and not playing favorites. The dynamic between Olivia and me, with her being the favorite child, contributed to the situation we ended up in. In my future family, I want to make sure all my children feel equally valued and heard. Lastly, this experience has taught me the value of forgiveness and second chances. While it's been a long and difficult process, the fact that I'm able to work on rebuilding my relationship with my parents is testament to the power of forgiveness. I want to bring that spirit of reconciliation and understanding into my own family life. Those are wonderful aspirations for your future family. As we wrap up this interview, is there any advice you'd like to share with others who might be going through similar family conflicts? I think the most important thing I've learned is that healing takes time, and that's okay. Don't rush yourself to forgive or reconcile if you're not ready. It's important to process your emotions and take care of your own mental health first. Secondly, don't be afraid to seek help. Whether it's from friends, a therapist, or support groups, having a support system is crucial. These people can provide perspective and help you navigate the complex emotions that come with family conflicts. Also, try to maintain hope. Even when things seem darkest, there's always the possibility for change and healing. My story is proof that even after years of estrangement, reconciliation is possible. Lastly, remember that you have the power to create your own family, whether that's through marriage, close friendships, or chosen family. Blood relations are important, but they're not the only form of family. And if reconciliation does become possible, approach it with an open heart but also with clear boundaries. It's okay to protect yourself while also working on rebuilding relationships. Thank you so much for sharing your powerful story and insights with us. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we conclude? I just want to emphasize that while my story has a relatively happy ending, I know that's not always the case for everyone dealing with family estrangement. Every situation is unique, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution to these kinds of conflicts. What I hope people take away from my story is that it's possible to find happiness and build a fulfilling life, even after experiencing a traumatic family situation. Whether that involves reconciliation or creating a new family of your own, there is hope for a brighter future. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my experience, and I hope it can provide some comfort or guidance to others who might be going through similar challenges. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you once again for your time and for sharing your journey with us. Your story of resilience, growth, and eventual reconciliation is truly inspiring. We wish you all the best in your continued healing process and in your future with Rachel.